This is 1480 KRAE Cheyenne.
Also being heard on translator K266CC Cheyenne at 101.1 FM.
What you are about to hear is a sports talk radio show unlike any other that has ever before been broadcast in the capital city of Cheyenne, Wyoming, USA. This is Cheyenne, Wyoming's Sports Talk Authority. The Wyoming Cowboys, the Denver Broncos, the Colorado Rockies, and the Denver Nuggets. The show is local, it's regional, and yes, the show is national as well. Wyoming Sports Talk Today is on the air. If they're talking sports on the radio in Cheyenne, this is the place it happens. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today.
And good afternoon. Welcome to Wyoming Sports Talk Today. It is being brought to you by Taco John's of Cheyenne. Over on the South Greeley Highway, you will find the food truck currently at the Outlaw Saloon parking lot. Again, serving up delicious Taco John's eats. You will also find Taco John's downtown on KRAE Avenue. And on Yellowstone Road. You also find them at Del Range and Ridge and Persian and Ridge. Enjoy Taco John's Eats today. Taco John's of Cheyenne. Kia of Cheyenne over on Nation Way. The 19s need to go so we can get those 20s all ready to present to you. And again, you're going to find some good deals that AJ puts forth over at Kia of Cheyenne. Again, Kia sell themselves. You just need to sit down and just sign on the dotted line, take home the key of your dreams today. Key of Cheyenne on Nation Way. Platte Valley Bank times 2. You will find Rick and the crew over on Vanda High. You'll also find the great crew over at the corner of College and Pershing. Chick-fil-A, Windmill and Del Range, right across from Powers Field, and Menards, open 6 days a week, Monday through Saturday, serving up 3 delicious squares. And on the menu right now, you're going to enjoy their delicious mac and cheese. And still, for a limited time, you can enjoy their frosted caramel coffee. Medi-Cal Pharmacy, for all your pharmaceutical needs, over on Bluegrass Circle, next door to Texas Roadhouse, open Monday through Saturday. Convenient drive-thru, or do your business inside over at Medi-Cal Pharmacy. B&B Appliance and TV at 714 Central Avenue, where they service what they sell over at B&B Appliance and TV. And you'll find the shopping list: Whirlpool, Maytag, General Electric. They got it there for you. And again, hey, if you have one already in place and it happens to go on the fritz, hey, give them a call. They'll come on by and service it for you as well. B&B Appliance and TV, 714 Central Avenue. Lennox Auto Body over on Dunn Avenue, where they repair it to almost factory new. And, of course, they have the Auto Glass and Detail Center on Pershing Boulevard. They're both part of Lennox Enterprises, serving our community needs for a quarter century. First Tier Bank at 1508 Stillwater Avenue, offering some great annual percentage yields right now on CDs. Check out the latest rates today over at First Tier Bank on Stillwater Avenue. And across the street at 1507 Stillwater Avenue, Suite D in the Greenway Commons, it's Mondello's Pizzeria. For nearly 5 decades, Joe has brought true Paisan cuisine to Cheyenne. Family recipes, not corporate recipes, family recipes, and you will enjoy everything. Whether you do a sandwich, whether you do their stromboli, you do their calzones, or most importantly, Joe's famous pizza, it's all for you at Mondello's Pizzeria at 1507 Stillwater Avenue, Suite D in the Greenway Commons. And at Scoreboard Time, it's being brought to you by Pepsi of Cheyenne. We'll go to Nick.
LCCC women's volleyball in action late last night in La Junta, Colorado, taking on Otero Junior College, where LCCC unfortunately lost that contest 3-1. So with the loss, LCCC falls to 3-18 overall. At least start of hockey season coming up tonight. It is 4 games on the slate for the NHL regular season for 2019-2020. You will see the Ottawa Senators travel to Toronto to see the Maple Leafs in the Enterprise Center, at least in St. Louis. The Blues, they'll be hosting the Washington Capitals. You can see that game on NBC Sports Network. Edmonton Oilers at home, they will take on the Vancouver Canucks. And last but not least, in Las Vegas, the Vegas Golden Knights play host of the San Jose Sharks. That game you can also see on NBC Sports Network. And do want to remind folks, coming up this Friday here on 1480 KRAE, 101.1 FM, 1480KRAE.com is where you can hear the contest. Video live streaming on Periscope via Twitter, and also to the 1480 KRAE YouTube channel. We will be up in Casper, Wyoming, to see Casper Kelly Walsh play host to Cheyenne Central. That is a 6 o'clock kickoff, as has been confirmed by me. It will be 5:30 tentative pregame show here on 1480 KRAE. It is Week 5, game number 6 here in 2019, Class 4A.
Major League Baseball, only one game on the slate for this evening, and it will be the Rays of Tampa taking on the Oakland Athletics. That will be in the Coliseum. Charlie Morton will get the call for the Rays, and Sean Mania will be on the hill for Oakland. That will be a prime time contest coming up at 6 p.m. If you missed out last night, you just didn't care, the Brewers lost to the Washington Nationals 4-3, so that means the Nats will move on to face the Los Angeles Dodgers in the National League Divisional Series. Our scoreboard brought to you by Pepsi of Cheyenne.
I'm Nate.
And I'm Kate.
And we're not just literal taste buds. We're best buds.
And there's nothing that we love more than a
cool,
crisp,
deliciously refreshing Pepsi.
Sure, we live inside your mouth.
But that doesn't mean we don't enjoy the finer things.
Next prescription from Medicap Pharmacy, call ahead and use our drive-through window. Or you can call for free delivery. You can even log on to Medicap.com and order a prescription refill. Your Medicap pharmacist will call you to make arrangements for pickup or delivery.
Medicap Pharmacy will always make time for you.
Medicap Pharmacy, 1947 Bluegrass Circle, next to Texas Roadhouse in Cheyenne. Or call 635-3712.
Looking for an IT company with friendly, local customer service and the expertise to handle any job? Then go with a name you trust, High West Digital Solutions, a High West energy company. We handle everything from business network management to personal computer problems to same-day phone and tablet repairs. Visit our website at hwds.com or call 307-245-4333 and speak to a real live human being, local, polite, and eager to help. High West Digital Solutions, the best choice, the local choice, the right choice for you.
Here's the latest weather forecast on 1480 KRAE.
For today, it'll be mostly sunny with highs around 60 and winds out of the south at 15 to 20 miles per hour. For tonight, it'll be mostly clear with lows around 27 and winds out of the west at 15 to 20 miles per hour. On Thursday, it'll be sunny with highs around 61, and on Thursday night, it'll be mostly clear with lows around 36.
You're listening to Cheyenne's new Sports Talk Authority. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today on AM 1480 KRAE.
Welcome to Wyoming Sports Talk Today. Larry Peroletti, along with Nick Peroletti, and we bring on our first very special guest, and we're glad to have her back on, live from Toronto, Ontario, as we get a chance to talk to Victoria Matiash, NHL insider for ESPN.com, and long time no talk. Victoria, glad to have you back.
I hope you guys had a good summer. I'm happy that hockey season is getting going again. I've had enough of it, so I want to get back right back into it.
And let's talk about the National Hockey League and things that went on while we were all in the midst of watching baseball and even football training camps. But there is some activity that goes on during the offseason for the National Hockey League. Anything that was earth-shattering that happened during the offseason?
I mean, I suppose if I had to pick one thing, it would just be the length of time that it took to sign all the restricted free agents. That really went long. I mean, with Mitch Marner, and then it was, you guys, of course, with your Colorado Avalanche, started to bite your nails a little bit, wondering if Mikko Rantanen was going to, sit out even part of the season or what was going to happen there. And, Connor and Winnipeg and all the rest of it. So I would say, yeah, I was a little bit surprised that didn't get sorted out earlier, but I guess it's a new day. It was such a high-quality crop of players to hit restricted free agency this summer, and they're starting to pay their own way, whether it's with a bridge deal or they want to sign long-term and how much money, and they're really calling the shots more now than they ever have been before, and I think that's probably one of the big reasons for the delay.
And looking at the offseason as well, with restricted free agents signing that, but also two teams during this offseason looking for new head coaches, like, for instance, again, as we saw early on in offseason with Florida, at least picking up new head coach out there, Anaheim as well, a few other teams. But at least, Victoria, as you look at the new crop of head coaches across the NHL, which one has the possibility to turn the franchise around immediately to get them back on that winning track?
Well, I think you have to go with Quenneville in Florida, right? He has the pedigree. He has the cups. He has the experience. And he seems like the type of guy who's just going to take an already pretty good team and just maybe push them over that finish line that they just haven't been able to get to. The new goaltender, obviously, and Bobrovsky helps as well. But I think I like Quenneville a lot in Florida. I also think there's a lot to be excited about Dallas Eakins in Anaheim. He's promised to open things up and give his offense a lot more freedom. And if you watch a lot of Ducks games, you know that they've had a lot of difficulty scoring. They've been pretty boring, unfairly to John Gibson, a very good netminder they have. So I think that's going to be interesting. If he can push his players and if he's going to keep his promise of giving them a little bit more freedom, hey, maybe they're going to play some more shots and scoring opportunities, but also enjoy some of their own and maybe play a little bit more exciting brand of hockey.
Victoria, let's talk about, it happens and sometimes it's under the radar and we don't really, get full wind of it until it actually happens. But some rule changes for the National Hockey League this season?
Yep, there are some. Did you? Are you guys familiar with them at all? Have you done any research yourself, or did you hear about the new video review now and how you can challenge and all the rest of it?
That's been expanded.
Cool. Yeah, it's been expanded, and it's been expanded in, I think, a very positive way. The fact is now, we saw this happen with Cody Aiken with the San Jose game back in the playoffs, and it might have even cost Vegas a chance to move forward in the playoffs, which is, extremely unfortunate with the Pavelski smacking his head and the blood everywhere and whatever. If the referees are going to call a major penalty outside of fighting is still the same. Two guys are fighting, you get 5-minute majors, that's the end of it. That's pretty much undisputed. You don't need video replay to see if two guys are pounding the stuffing out of each other. But any other match or major penalty automatically goes to video review. So they're not going to make these mistakes anymore, and I think that's a very, very, very positive step in the right direction. Absolutely. I think it's a great call. I like the coaches' challenges, the changes to the rules with coaches' challenges as well. Now, if you want to challenge a goal, great. Go ahead. It has to be black and white, like maybe the goal was there was offside or there was a hand pass. You can challenge any goal for whatever reason, but if you make a mistake and the goal is upheld, you are then charged with as a 2-minute minor yourself. So you're not going to be challenging every single goal. We're not going to be watching 10-hour-long hockey games because it actually doubles after that. If you challenge a second time and lose, now you're assessed a double minor. So you are going to pay a huge price for getting it wrong. So if you're challenging a goal against your team, you got to make sure that you have your ducks in a row, and I like that as well.
Well, at least even with the new rules and additions to the NHL, at least, again, we're not at the point where the NFL, where we got to review constant touchdowns every time and rules out of the wazoo that referees can't even understand as well, too. And even going back to last year's playoff series, how appropriate that with the NHL season getting underway, hey, tonight, 8:30 on NBC Sports Network, live in Las Vegas, you got a rematch of these two teams. Now it's kind of the big rivalry in the Pacific Division between San Jose Sharks and the Vegas Golden Knights. Again, that game happening at T-Mobile coming up tonight. But as we preview the 2019-2020 campaign with you, Victoria, let's kind of start. And there was an article on ESPN.com of thoughts, predictions through this season, which you were included on as well. And we'll start in the Eastern Conference. We'll start in the Atlantic Division, where overwhelming majority, and also two Vegas odds makers, have put this team at number one to win the Stanley Cup. But it looks like the favorite to win the Atlantic Division, and you went with that team as well, is the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Yeah, no, I do. I think they're just too good of a hockey team. I mean, they were the best team in the NHL for the last regular season. I think what happened to them in the postseason at the hands of the Blue Jackets was anomalous. I don't think we're going to see that again. I think they're the deepest team. I think they're the most complete team. From the goalie out through defense, especially now even adding Kevin Shattenkirk, who could certainly use a renaissance season, going all the way through. Their depth at forward is just jaw-dropping. I mean, their third line could be other teams' second, if not even some first line. I mean, their depth is unbelievable. They're very well coached. I mean, when I take my professional hockey writer's hat off, I'm a Toronto Maple Leafs fan, so I'd love to say that I see them at the top of the division. I don't. I think Tampa Bay is going to be very, very difficult to topple.
You know, it's interesting, too, as I was doing some reading on this this afternoon, Gary Bettman, 26 years as commissioner of the NHL, and, you know, this looks like a situation for once that there's a lot of calm amongst the waters, amongst the players as well as owners. So I guess what the CBA is, 2022, if I'm not mistaken?
Yeah, I think that's about right. Yeah, I kind of steer away from that a little bit, and I let it, the women and men who write a lot about that, when they come to their conclusions. I know the Players Association, the PA, is still reviewing some matters, so we don't have it nailed in stone yet that we have several years of labor rest ahead of us, but it certainly looks like it's trending in that direction. I think it's generally basically from both sides, whether it's owners and management or the players. If it ain't broke, right? Like, it's not perfect. I know the players are still, a little ticked off about a few issues. But in general, they're making a lot of money. The owners are making some money. Most teams are anyways. The league is moving in the right direction. It's becoming more popular. The audience is growing. Salary cap goes up a little bit every year. All the rest of it, it is going in the right direction. And again, I think they also realize that if they lose half a season or, goodness forbid, a full season, that's really going to hurt the game as it has in the past. And I don't think anybody on any side wants to risk that. So if it's good enough, I think everybody's all right.
But it seems like, too, with the National Hockey League right now, the state of the NHL probably is in its best shape. That, I mean, and I'm 62 years old. I mean, it seems like, and not all franchises are going to make piles of cash. But the bottom line is, it looks like it's pretty healthy right now.
It absolutely is. But, I mean, we don't even have to hold that opinion. That's actual fact. I mean, it's making more money. It has the largest audience forever. They're expanding to Seattle, and there's a lot of excitement around that. The league is growing, and it's growing at a nice clip as well. So it's I mean, it's not anywhere near rivaling like the NFL. The NHL is still like the little baby brother of the four majors for sure, but it's gaining ground all the time, especially in what I hate the term non-traditional hockey markets, but I can't come up with anything else. But the game is growing in places like, around where you guys are, and Arizona, and look at what happened in Vegas. I mean, who expected that? It just how popular it became so quickly, and I think that's going to help. I mean, now parents are putting their kids, their boys and girls, into hockey, and then when you play it, you're a larger fan, and it's just over time. I think, I think we're at the beginning of what could be a really long, successful run, and I think that's great.
And even at least excitement for the addition as well, too, to bring in the Seattle market as well, too, eventually down the line in the NHL. But, again, that's a couple of years away as they get that developed up there in Seattle. But, again, going back to predictions for 2019-2020, we'll look at kind of the easy ones out of at least the Metro Division, where for you, Victoria, you went with the Washington Capitals. For the Pacific, no surprise with the Vegas Golden Knights to win that division. But, again, as we keep it on the at least central side, especially looking down 100 miles to at least down the road with the Colorado Avalanche, You, Victoria, went a little interesting route, especially out of that Central. We're a very competitive division in hockey. You got the defending Stanley Cup champs, St. Louis Blues, defending their cup at least this season. Instead, Victoria, you went with the Dallas Stars. No love for the Avs, no love for the Blues. Why the Dallas Stars?
Couple of things. I think I like the fact that they've got their good young defense is a year older. You have Miro Heiskanen, who's now not going to be a rookie anymore. John Klingberg, I think, is in for a great season. I absolutely love their signing of Joe Pavelski. I think it just completely changes the whole look of their top six, because before it was really a top three. They had a number one line, and then they had everyone else. So they had Jamie Benn, Tyler Seguin, and Radulov, and that was it. That's who scored all the goals. And I'm not being facetious. That's literally what has happened. And now, bringing in Pavelski, they can bring a little balance in. Rupe Hintz is now becoming a bit of a guy. He's a little bit older. He's kind of ready to take on the second-line center role. And then you can put either Radulov or Pavelski. It looks like it's going to be Radulov to start on that line. And now you have a top six. Now you actually have a legitimate top six. Their goaltending tandem of Ben Bishop and Anton Khudobin is one of the best tandems in the league. It's been proven. I mean, they were last year. I think they were the best tandem in the league. And I have a lot of faith in Jimmy Montgomery. I actually picked him to win the Jack Adams this year. I know it's kind of difficult to pick one of 31 coaches because who knows what's going to happen. But he is my early pick. They're my sneaky pick. I think it's going to be a very interesting division. I think Colorado's going to be a lot of fun to watch. I think St. Louis is going to be tough to beat as well. I think Chicago is going to be a lot of fun to watch. They ended the season on a much higher ground than they did to start. I think Winnipeg is trending in the wrong direction. I think Minnesota's trending in the wrong direction. But amongst the rest of them, I think it's up in the air. So that's why I thought, well, why not go with Dallas as a little bit of a dark horse?
Well, let's focus on those Colorado Avalanche, though, again, to keep fans out here a little happy to talk about those Avs. But you look at Vegas odds, as we like to talk about it. You look at the overall favorite going into the season, Tampa Bay Lightning. Right behind them is the Toronto Maple Leafs. Third best, at least odds on to win the Cup, is Vegas Golden Knights. Fourth, Boston Bruins. And fifth is going to be the Colorado Avalanche. Yep. In your opinion, Victoria, do the Avs have enough pieces right now to win that Cup, in your opinion? Or if not, what is the Achilles heel that is preventing them to get to that next level?
They're almost there. I think they are so almost there. I think what they did in the offseason, I'm really impressed. I mean, the move to pick up Nazem Kadri, the trade for Nazem Kadri, I thought that was genius. Again, you guys have watched enough Avalanche games to realize it's one of the same things I was talking about in Dallas. You have that top line, and then you've got a bit of a mishmash after that, right? Nothing really was cohesive. Lines were being juggled all the time to try and find some chemistry. Now you have your second-line center. It's Nazem Kadri. There's nothing to talk about now. And DeAndre Burakovsky coming over for Washington, another great move. Great move. Here's a young kid who is so talented, so gifted, and just hasn't been able to find that consistent stride with Washington. I think he's going to be absolutely killer for you guys. If he can develop chemistry with Kadri, maybe Tyson Yost on the other side, I think that's what they're going with to start. And then you've got a little bit of depth with Jonas Donskoy after that. Just you've got the right pieces up front. I think up front there's very little to criticize. My concern is still the defense. We'll see what Cale Makar. I mean, all hail Cale Makar. The poor guy is already, being talked about as a Calder candidate. He has, let's do something first. Let's get a few games under our belt this season and see what happens. But they're still young. Sammy Girard's still young. Nikita Zadorov still young. I want one more guy. One more experienced skater. There's a lot of talent on the blue line. I want one more experienced skater because I like Grubauer and Net, and I think it's, again, a well-coached team. But you know what? If Cale Makar is readier, I suppose that's not the right word, but more ready than I'm anticipating, then who knows? I think you guys can upset. I do have you picked to go to the postseason. I think you're going to be a lot of fun to watch in the postseason. I think you could probably win a round. But I want that one more body, and we'll see if you do something before the trade deadline. Maybe you're going to chase after it. I want that one more body on the blue line with a little bit of experience.
No, and I think Joe Sakic and Jared Bednar are on the same page together. They've worked together now for a few years, so I think they may pull that deal off. Victoria, my final thought before we let you go, and again, thank you again for joining us. It's always wonderful to talk to you. You mentioned...
I love doing this, guys. I would do this every day. Absolutely.
And we love it, too, because it educates us more than you know. But you mentioned Winnipeg along with Minnesota kind of trending downward. what other team that's been there near the top of the heap for a few seasons? What's another team on your radar that is just not going to show well, that just didn't do nothing in the offseason?
I'm disappointed with San Jose, what San Jose didn't do after losing Pavelski. I think they have one more kick at the can, and then I think like the kids are going to take over, and I think there might be a little bit of a transition period there. That's the way I'm leaning right now. Pittsburgh, again, I think they're right there. I think they're competitive now, but I think they're in for a decline. So, I would say Pittsburgh in the East. I think this is it. I mean, you're gonna have a shot now. Sidney Crosby is going to be an excellent hockey player for a long time. I'm more concerned about what's happening around him. And trading Phil Kessel, it was the right move to make, but you just traded a goal scorer away, and he's not there anymore. And we'll see. We'll see. I think they're on shakier ground that they have been in the past. And again, if Pittsburgh did not make the playoffs, I would not be shocked. So, I mean, especially in that Met division. That's tight. When I picked Washington to come out of there, I maybe could have tried to decide between 3 or 4 different teams. Honestly, what New Jersey did in the offseason is super exciting. Oh, I also think Columbus is trending in the wrong direction. And again, I don't think it's Jarmo Kekalainen's fault. I mean, you can't keep Panarin, your best hockey player. You can't keep your franchise goaltender. What are you going to do, right? You try your best. You try to plug the holes. And it's unfortunate because I think Columbus was a lot of fun last year, but I don't see them making the postseason this year.
Well, it's exciting times again as we get started with the NHL season tonight. 4 games on the slate to open things up, as we mentioned with our scoreboard. But final thought from me, Victoria, as we'll move away from the ice and look to the hardwood, as we got to entertain this, as we had this talk with you around at least a couple months ago. But again, as you are a Toronto native, you are also to a Raptors fan. You got the championship up there in Toronto with the whole situation where you, at least infamously, said here on the show, hey, Kawhi was going to return as a Raptor. But kind of tongue-in-cheek question for you, Victoria, to kind of head into the break with you. Again, Kawhi, give your thoughts on him signing with the LA Clippers and leaving Toronto, so to speak, kind of high and dry.
Well, I mean, I think we were all. I think when I told you, I said I was leaning in that direction, but I wasn't sure. It was a little bit funny to figure out. I will speak for my city comfortably in saying we're all generally very disappointed. We're very grateful. I mean, our first championship, and I will say because I'm invested in the team. I buy tickets, I buy merchandise. We are invested, and to win the first championship was a lot of fun, guys. That was a really fun spring, and we've been enjoying it all summer long. And now we get to watch the commercials. Your world champion Raptors and all the rest of it. It's been a really good time. So I think we're very grateful. He came here. He won us a championship. What he does after that, he owes us nothing. It would have been nice to try and to repeat. But at the same time, home is where the heart is. I think everybody's very grateful he didn't sign with the Lakers because the Clippers are fine. The Lakers, I think, would have left a little bit more sour taste in their mouths. So at least he wants to go home. He wants to be around his friends and family. You know what? Who doesn't want to do that? So I think as a human being, you can understand it. And it wasn't personal. We didn't take it personally. And I think that was probably the right approach.
Well, Victoria, we want to thank you again for joining us. Absolutely wonderful discussion, and we will catch up with you throughout the course of the season.
Whatever you guys want. Enjoy the start of the regular season.
Absolutely. Victoria Matiash, NHL Insider for ESPN.com. Join us here on 1480 KRAE. We need to take a break, and we'll be right back.
To be your fullest self, you gotta eat like it. Top off your tank with all your faves, or dig into 3 new items in our new Full Up menu at Taco John's. When you're not taking any guff from your hunger, get the Boss Burrito or Boss Bowl's bigger flavors. Or go for the Sausalada Enchiladas bold, saucy style. And don't forget the better bites of the aerodynamic Taco Perfecto. Never run on empty with the new Full Up menu. Taco John's. Bigger, bolder, better. At participating locations.
B&B Appliance and TV has been your locally owned appliance store for 49 years. Not only do we offer several major brands, we also service what we sell. And we have the largest parts department in Laramie County. Next time you're in a big box store, just ask to see their parts and service department. Then come visit the appliance experts at B&B Appliance and TV, 714 Central Avenue. Best brands, hometown service.
At Platte Valley Bank, we love to see our customers come through the door. Well, we know life can be busy and you don't always have time to come to the bank. That's why we offer user-friendly online and mobile banking products with features such as bill pay, recurring transfers, mobile deposit, and now digital wallet. At Platte Valley Bank, you can manage your money how you want, when you want. Whether you prefer to bank in person, over the phone, or online, Platte Valley Bank makes it easy to take care of your finances.
Platte Valley Bank, member FDIC. MHP is a certified public accounting and consulting firm located in Bow, Cheyenne, and Fort Collins, offering accounting, tax, and consulting services to businesses, not-for-profit, government, and individual clients. MHP takes pride in their commitment to providing close, personal attention to their clients. They also continue to invest time and resources in continuing education, state-of-the-art computer technology, and valuing their relationships with you. MHP is a proud supporter of local and UW athletics. MHP, 314 West 18th Street, or call 634-2151.
Relieve your stress. I'm A.J. Miller for Kia of Cheyenne. With a new Kia vehicle, you get one of the best warranties in America. The new 2019 Kia Sorento comes with a 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty. 2019 Kia Sorento gives you up to 122 cubic feet of cargo space, 7-passenger seating, available all-wheel drive, and wireless charging for your devices. Come into Kia of Cheyenne, call 775-0123 or go to KiaofCheyenne.com, and we'll make it easy. Warranty is a limited powertrain warranty. See Kia.com or a retailer for details.
Hop into the KRAE Time Machine each Monday through Thursday for the golden age of radio, featuring famous radio classics such as Jack Armstrong and Suspense Theater, along with pioneers in the entertainment industry like Bob Hope and Abbott and Costello, along with many other performers who've captured our ears many, many years ago. Join us for the golden age of radio Monday through Thursday, 8 until 10 p.m. on 1480 KRAE, also 101.1 FM, and you can also stream all of our programming on 1480KRAE.com.
When it comes to sports talk in Cheyenne, it's a whole new ballgame. Let's play ball! You're listening to Wyoming Sports Talk today, and it's only here on AM 1480 KRAE.
Back on Wyoming Sports Talk today, once again, Victoria Matiash. I just thoroughly enjoy listening to her talk about hockey and talk about somebody that loves the sport.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. Again, also, too, loves her city of Toronto, again, where right now Toronto, you know, even though she went with Tampa Bay, which is kind of the overwhelming at least favorite out of the Atlantic Division, but, you know, Toronto, at least with the Maple Leafs, have a legitimate shot of what they did and got into the playoffs and how they've been building up that franchise. It's a great possibility that the Maple Leafs could host that Stanley Cup out of a Eastern Conference that, again, you look at where the notables are basically Washington, Tampa. If you get past them, which again is possible, we saw last year what happened with both of them getting upset in that first round. So Toronto, again, and I'll even say with Boston, we'll see what happens with the Boston Bruins as they're also two up top. But you know, I think Toronto could have a good route to getting a Stanley Cup if it is all said and done. But again, the West, especially in the Central Division, even Victoria talked about it, the Central Division, including with the Colorado Avalanche, that's going to be a bloodbath from head to toe.
Right.
And you could even include a team that, you know, she even alluded to, Chicago Blackhawks, who have kind of at least been on rough times, but they have kind of built up that franchise back to, you know, where it was a couple seasons ago. So we'll see what happens in that Central Division. Again, you got the defending Stanley Cup champions with St. Louis Blues. Again, not a whole lot of movement. Didn't really need to do a whole lot of movement in the offseason. Avs just re-signing and basically kind of, again, keeping par.
She feels they're one player away.
Yeah, one player away for getting that Stanley Cup, but we'll see what happens there. Again, you got Winnipeg, you got Nashville. Nashville might be a team that's on the trend downwards, but we'll see what happens with the Jets. You got a lot of talented, and also to those Dallas Stars. And we saw what happened, what they did last year, their run in the playoffs. Again, getting past that Nashville team as well in the first round. So very interested to see how hockey goes. Again, even out in the Pacific, you know, Vegas, San Jose. You know, we'll see what happens with Calgary. Again, to Calgary, your most point team in the Western
and
Conference.
Are the Ducks and the Kings, are they irrelevant again this year?
Ducks, again, under the new head coach with Eakins. We'll see what happens, again, of new head coaches. That's why I wanted to at least ask that question with Victoria of looking at the new additions to the NHL, and obviously the big name, the guy who's been there, did it, done it. You saw it down in Colorado. You saw it with Chicago with the Blackhawks. And now you might possibly see the rise of a new, at least, I'm not going to say a dynasty just yet because it is Florida, but we'll see what happens with the Panthers. Again, when Joe Quenneville goes to a team, he usually gets championships with them. And we'll see what happens with the Florida Panthers as that's a franchise that has been working and building year in and year out. And I think this might be that one piece to solidify and go, okay, now we got stability down there in the state of Florida.
You know, the one team that you could call either the Dodgers or the Yankees of the National Hockey League, and they have become irrelevant as well, the Montreal Canadiens. I mean, over the last few years, that you talk about a team that has trended downward. They're not even in discussions anymore. And you go watch a Montreal Canadiens game. Look at how many banners are floating in their little arena over there.
Yeah, Montreal has the most Stanley Cup wins of any franchise across the league,
and they're just not.
Teams are going to fall. They're going to have those issues. Look what happened with Detroit. Detroit, as well, known as a winning franchise, they've been going through a lot of struggles in for it seems like almost like a decade at this point in time. That team has been very, at least, irrelevant. So we'll see what happens. But at least looking at a few matchups again where Victoria Matiash does participate and, again, is a writer for ESPN.com. They had their predictions with also 2 player trophies and just divisions and Stanley Cup winner. I do believe that she went with Vegas winning it all this season, which obviously the Golden Knights have a good shot at winning that Pacific Division because I think that's probably the weakest division out of the 3 others. Not a whole lot of teams stand out that could be real competitive against San Jose, that she said, trending downwards. Calgary, again, that's the big bugaboo. Edmonton has had a rough start, and then obviously with we'll see what happens with the Arizona Coyotes. That's a team that's trying to trend upwards, and then Anaheim and Los Angeles Kings. But, yes, we are underway with hockey coming up tonight. Again, 4 games on the slate, so looking forward to it. It is still somewhat bittersweet here in the city of Cheyenne.
Are you on track for hockey tonight, or would you – and, again, you got the shirt on. Are you into the baseball tonight?
Well, again, it is postseason for baseball. Playoffs for any sport I am all invested in. I get it. It's game 1 of an 82-game at least schedule for for Vegas, for Anaheim, those 2 teams that I do follow, even with the at least Colorado Avalanche that we do cover. So can't afford to miss at least the early one. But again, go figure that the NHL schedules San Jose versus Vegas Golden Knights, game 1, primetime TV of what we saw last season. Again, go back to the infamous Game 7, the major 5-minute penalty that probably shouldn't have.
And prompted a rule change. Again, it's not proactive, it's reactive.
Well, again, most leagues are like that. Look what the NFL, again, go back to that Saints-Rams game of where we are now with the new additional rule. You go with the Brady-Tuck rule as well. That's, again, it's reactive than proactive. So it is what it is.
Yeah, and now you can flag defensive calls as well, too. Before it was just, if you wanted a replay on something, it was just.
But you go back to that Game 7, and even Avs fans have a issue as well with their Game 7 against that same San Jose team in the semifinal round of last year's playoffs. There were interesting calls, and it is something that, as you look back again, that 5-minute at least major penalty against Vegas, that cost them the game. We're talking a team that had a big lead in that third, and again, when we talked to David Shane out of Las Vegas, we talked and got the analysts about that series. Obviously, Vegas you had a decent lead. You should have played some defense. Shouldn't have let all of those through at that point in time. But it is something that did alter that game in a big way. And obviously, it did favor in a sort of way to the San Jose Sharks.
Figure San Jose in their run last season. Against Vegas as well as against Colorado.
And eventually losing to your defending Stanley Cup champion, St. Louis. But, yeah.
But, the thing is, though, they were mired in controversy during the playoffs. So
without a doubt.
It's going to be interesting to see how San Jose rebounds, but she doesn't feel all that strong about the Sharks for the season.
But
they'll be there when it's all said and done.
Yeah, but again, we are in, at least hockey is finally here, eventually basketball underway. Again, we got at least baseball playoffs, football well underway. So again, a fun time across the nation. Again, 4 games for the NHL for you to watch if you're not interested in baseball. But as I said, kind of a bit bittersweet on the hockey talk here in town of what happened over the past at least couple of months. But oh well, things move on. But yes, hockey is here, at least across the nation.
Well, and again, without it being here in Cheyenne this season, it's still 50 miles down the road and 100 miles down the road as well.
Let's take a break as well.
All right, we'll take a timeout. We'll come back. We'll talk some baseball after these words right here on 1480 KRAE. The team at Chick-fil-A, Windmill and Delrange, directly across from Powers Field and Menards, are proud sponsors of the student-athletes for the 2019-2020 school year for high school and LCCC. Not only do they support the athletes, but they are ready for your next cater-out event, meeting, or gathering. A special thank you to Chick-fil-A and all they do for 1480 KRAE and our sister station KYOI-FM during the year. For more information, call Chick-fil-A at 638-4444. October is Buzz Driving Awareness Month. A reminder, too many treats can and will trick you up. Buzz driving is drunk driving, period. Don't be a statistic. Keep yourself and others safe. Designate a sober driver and leave your car keys at home. You'd rather pay a taxi than pay the consequences of driving drunk. Paid for by Federal Highway Safety Funds. First Tier Bank strives to remain competitive and offers some of the best CD rates in the community, as well as area banks and credit unions per Rate Watch reports. How does that make a difference to you? First Tier Bank can assist you in securing some of the best rates on CDs. First Tier Bank offers the personalized customer service you've grown accustomed to and deserve. Plus, feel confident that your finances are taken care of by a responsible, knowledgeable staff. Call 307-632-3500 and ask for Caitlin or Debbie. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
At Medicap Pharmacy, we concentrate on nothing but your medications and your health. Each location is a locally owned full-service neighborhood pharmacy. We won't make you walk through aisles and aisles of stuff or wait in a long line. Instead, we'll always make time for you by listening, answering your questions, and explaining your prescriptions.
Medicap Pharmacy. Time for you.
Medicap Pharmacy, 1947 Bluegrass Circle, next to Texas Roadhouse in Cheyenne. Or call 635-3712.
Is the touchscreen on your phone or tablet cracked or broken? Buying a new device could cost up to $1,000. Or you could let the local experts at High West Digital Solutions save you hundreds of dollars. We can replace your touchscreen in as little as a day, and your satisfaction is guaranteed. Visit our website at hwds.com or call 307-245-4333 and speak to a real live human being. High West Digital Solutions, the best choice, the local choice, the right choice for you.
When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think authentic Italian. When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think made fresh from scratch. When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think great pizza, delicious Philly cheesesteak, superb hot and cold Italian sandwiches, meatballs, sausage, and special subs, calzones, crisp salads, and great service. When you say Mondello's Pizzeria, think unmatched Italian taste. Mondello's Pizzeria, 1507 Stillwater Avenue, your only true Italian stop for lunch or dinner.
Here's the latest weather forecast on 1480 KRAE.
For today, it'll be mostly sunny with highs around 60 and winds out of the south at 15 to 20 miles per hour. Then for tonight, it'll be mostly clear with lows around 27 and winds out of the west at 15 to 20 miles per hour. On Thursday, it'll be sunny with highs around 61, and on Thursday night, it'll be mostly clear with lows around 36.
Tired of lazy and predictable sports talk radio? We know you are. This is Cheyenne's new sports radio home. It's Wyoming Sports Talk Today, and it's right here on AM 1480 KRAE.
Still to come, we're hoping that we'll have Michael Peterson, host of the Powder Blue Review and deputy manager for Bolts from theblue.com. Talk LA Chargers, Denver Broncos, upcoming football.
And again, that's the Powder Blue Review podcast as well, too.
Okay. Well, you just have all
Yeah, I know. Just letting you know so you know for future reference. There you go.
Okay.
So you can write that down. There
write
you
it
go.
down.
There you go.
I got it written down. All right. Baseball. And we've got quite a few minutes to talk about it. Last night, great game between the Nats and the Brewers.
It was great up until the 8th.
Until Hader blew yet another save.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody's high on Hader, and that's okay. I mean, he's blown 7 saves this year. Out of the 44, he had saved 37. Well, last night with 2 outs, he came in and I mean, he just didn't look good on the hill. And I don't care how hard you throw. You got to throw strikes. And that's what he wasn't doing last night. And the broken bat single by Zimmerman and the pinch hit roll, that was huge. And, of course, Soto getting that one it was right down Main Street and drilled it for a base hit. Anyway, bottom line is
Milwaukee, they should have won this contest without a doubt. They look like the better team. And then eventually, again, you're talking 3-1 lead. It's not like they were going to cruise on to a victory, but it had a feeling like that. Basically looked like Nationals were just not doing anything. They couldn't get any hits, couldn't get any runs. It was just this team kind of fell asleep at home.
Yeah, I was saying,
it looked like the same old Nats team that we've known for a couple of years on the playoffs.
How about former Giant and former Rocky Drew Pomerantz keeping the Nats at bay last night? I mean, the pitching on the Milwaukee side, except for the 8th inning, was stellar.
But this was an outcome that was highly surprising. Again, Nationals have been that highly surprising team of how they're in this position. Again, losing the pieces that they did, again, including one Bryce Harper, which obviously has proven that, hey, you didn't need him and clearly didn't help Philadelphia out at any point in time. But we'll see years to come with what he does down there. But again, this is a Nationals team that how do they get to this point? Now taking on the Dodgers in the at least NLDS, where in my opinion, I don't think Nationals have any business playing the Dodgers.
And it don't matter either, because, again, this National League is the Dodgers to win. But, Davey Martinez last night, even his little moves that he made, even with bringing Strasburg in, put him high on my list for Manager of the Year. Yes, Dave Roberts in Los Angeles.
No, he's not manager. I don't think he's Manager of the Year.
The Nationals weren't picked to do anything this year. They weren't even picked to go above 500. With all of the uncertainties that they had going on and losing Bryce Harper, no. And you only had 2 top-line pitchers.
I'm just saying, again, you look at...
I'll guarantee you if he doesn't get Manager of the Year, which, again, should go to the L.A. skipper for the job that he did, I'm just saying he'll run a close second.
We'll see. Again, obviously, that is after the season, all dependent upon. And again, it's just a war that it has no weight.
All right.
But either way, though, again, this Nationals team, yes, it was a surprise. It was a surprise how they won last night. But go figure out how
they'll have to go to L.A. for the first 2. And again, you're going to see Kershaw.
They have no business. Washington, you're running of what you've done here in 2019, as magical as it was, I think comes to an end abruptly against the Dodgers.
And I think Milwaukee would have matched up a little better with the Dodgers as far as offense.
Yeah, I think without a doubt.
Even without Christian Yelich, I think they would have.
That would have been, yeah. If you're a Dodgers fan picking your poison, you got the best scenario of taking on Nationals than the Milwaukee Brewers. But it is what it is. Again, Washington get it done at home, taking care of business there in the late innings, moving on, and that's about it. Hopefully, that's about it for Washington.
Hopefully the A's can do the same thing tonight at home in the Coliseum. Tampa had to make that long coast-to-coast trip.
Again, for the Oakland A's, we've seen how many times when they're in that wild card spot that they've blown it at home. We saw that against Kansas City. We've seen that many a time with this A's team over kind of recent years of when they have made it to the postseason. So we'll see what A's team does show up here tonight. Again, Tampa Bay, a team that on the same vein as Washington. We go back to that first, or at least I think it was the second series against the Colorado Rockies of how's this Rockies team losing to this at least to the Tampa Bay Rays. The Rays have no business winning these games. But it's been a consistent effort by Tampa Bay to get it done and make it to the postseason, where Tampa Bay is I'll say yes, they're a scary outfit. They could easily win in Oakland without a doubt.
But both teams are kind of built around the same, philosophy. They're not going to hit tons of home runs. They're going to scratch out runs every which way they can. They've got
they're definitely
good frontline pitching. Yeah. They've got good middle relief, and they got closers.
And I'd say even as well too, you look at with infielders and outfielders, good defense. So at least on both teams, that this might be what we saw at least last night between Washington and Milwaukee, it might be an offensive struggle for both teams.
And think about payrolls. We got two of the lowest payroll
Don't read
teams.
into payrolls. Let's be honest at this point in time.
I know, but I'm just saying you got two teams with the lowest payrolls in markets that are not that good.
All right.
So
like
again,
I said, that is not an argument at this point of.
Oh no, I'm just throwing that out
teams
there.
that don't put a whole lot of money. Clearly, again, what Billy Beane has done and revolutionized the game of baseball, especially for these small market teams. You even toss in with the Colorado Rockies. Rockies at a point in time where that small market team, or at least again, they weren't high on their budget, but found a way to make it to the postseason. I.e., granted, you'll minus last season where they added a lot of money into that team to kind of develop, but it's not like it can't be done.
A lot of waste by the Rockies. Oh, by the way, speaking of which, and you were talking, and if we don't get to it in this segment, we'll get to it next hour as well. But the Rockies, you had mentioned to me, basically are planning to stand pat.
That's the understanding of where they have their, at least, media kind of exit interviews. That was including with manager Bud Black. You also, too, had Jeff Bridich there. Also, too, at least Monfort was there. So you basically had every kind of step in the line in that front office there for the Colorado Rockies. All three of them basically giving their thoughts, opinions on what was 2019 for the Rockies and what is the future hold for that franchise. And the takeaway from I think it was about an hour and a half just exit interview for all three of them, since they all had at least things to say. The main takeaway is that this Rockies team, or at least the front office, they're happy with what they have. That this was just an anomaly year, that things will figure out in 2020, and that the Rockies will be back in the postseason. That this is a team that has no interest to make massive moves, whether it is coaching staff, front office, player changes, acquisitions at least in the offseason, trades of any kind. It's a team that says, or at least from my understanding, that they're happy of just standing pat, and hopefully it'll figure out next year.
And they're not worried. Again, there had been some, words swirling around about Nolan Arenado, who may not, do his 8 years on that new contract that he has with the Rockies. Rockies owner Dick Monfort, pretty confident. He's not too worried. Nobody in the front office is even worried that Nolan's not going to fulfill that contract with the Rockies. He's going to be a Rocky for the next 7 years.
You would assume so, but
he's 28 years old. He'll be 35 when the contract expires.
Yeah, but again, I see Nolan Arenado as a loyalty guy of where he would stick with the Rockies. Hey, you go through the thick and the thin.
I think
kind of like a Todd
way too. But
we'll see. His name was tossed around at the trade talk, so that was more kind of front office stuff where they wanted to move him, or at least kind of entertain that thought. And we'll see what happens. But again, if you go off the words of what we heard yesterday, they're not going to, but you never know.
But, the outfield's pretty crowded right now. I mean, if you look at what you have in the outfield, just throwing it out there, you got Tapia, you got Hilliard that came up, you've got Dahl, if he's ever could have a healthy season, you've got Desmond, you got Blackman, and I'm probably, missing a couple other players that.
Is the issue with the outfield or any of those position players right now with the Rockies?
No, it's
your pitching.
It's in your pen.
Yeah, without a doubt. I'll even say the starters.
Well, yeah, your front liners.
Look at the starters that you held.
I held in high regard. Yeah,
high hopes for that, at least starting rotation, and they were mightily disappointing this season.
I mean, it went all the way.
This is something that the Rockies were.
Freeland was awful.
If you're a Rockies fan, listening to yesterday's exit interview between those three, if I'm in those shoes, I would have wanted to at least hear for them to say, yes, we realize pitching was an issue. It's been an issue, and we're looking to change that in the offseason some way, shape, or form. But is it a situation that, again, we talk about the most expensive, at least bullpen in baseball. That's what it was when they spent all this money, got these top-notch guys, or what they thought they were getting. Again, getting that in the offseason. Again, last year.
And a year before.
Yeah, and a year before as well. Is it a situation, we've talked about this a couple times, but for the Rockies in that front office, including one Dick Monfort, are they just standing pat with what it is because we've already invested all that money? I'm not losing a dime on this due to the fact that they're not paying off in dividends. It sounds like it is like that of, okay, we're just going to weather the storm. I'm not shelling out another nickel for a bullpen piece. You bottom, and that's what you're going to get.
Well, if you notice in the call-ups in September, though, this was interesting by the Rockies. Again, totally out of it. We're not going to do much in the standings. But you saw a lot of the Albuquerque Rockies do a lot of the pitching and coming out of the bullpen. And you saw very little Wade Davis. You saw very little Brian.
And let's be honest, out of Albuquerque for the Isotopes, bullpen and pitching staff down there is not really highly regarded in AAA.
But also, too, though, Nick, again, what did Bud Black have to lose by bringing these guys up to throw? Because, again,
there's nothing. Obviously,
their frontliners couldn't do it.
This team was well out of it months ago. And, yes, you have that at least flexibility and option to bring up those pieces, test the water, so to speak, and see, okay, yeah, you have something, but let's send you back down to AAA, back down to Albuquerque, let it kind of ferment a little bit, and then get you back up. Well, obviously, you have that pieces when your team's well out of it, like the Rockies were, and how bad this season is. But again, my point, though, with Albuquerque, what they have right now in AAA that has the possibility to come on up to the Colorado Rockies for pitching is nothing all that special, though. It is not really highly regarded down there.
See, and also, too, you look at, the Giants. They gave up on Melanson. I can tell you right now at the winter meetings, they're going to give up on Wade Davis. They're going to give up on Brian Shaw. They're going to give up on McGee. They have to. These guys are making too much money for what they do.
Again, you go back to what happened yesterday with that exit interview. All indications so far of what they're saying to the public is we're sticking with those guys. The team's fine. 2020 will be better.
No.
And I don't foresee it.
No.
But that's just, again, that's what the front office is basically saying to media and fans of this team of, hey, we're happy with what we got. It was an anomaly year. 2020, we'll be back in shape.
They're not panicking by any stretch of the imagination.
But I think the Rockies should be panicking.
I think I would be wheeling and dealing.
You're wasting a lot of offense and defensive talent due to the fact that pitching, at least your starters, your bullpen, whatever it is, that pitching staff is your biggest Achilles heel. It's the biggest problem of the Rockies, and it needs to be addressed. It's something that has been the big issue for, it seems like almost for the entirety of the Rockies franchise existence.
See, and I don't know what you do when you go down to Talking Stick with that front line crew there, And
we'll see, in not even looking at personnel on the field, what about also to Bud Black's coaching staff? What you've argued and complained about this entire season.
Yeah, I think.
Will they stand pat on that?
Yeah.
We have no idea at this point, but indications are showing that don't expect anything big coming out of Rockies.
That's what you're going to say right now because they haven't had time. They have not had a time to sit back and go, oh, wow, we really sucked here or we were great here.
I mean, let's be honest, though, they've had months, though, to analyze this. You don't think Bridich has had that time to analyze this and sit back? Because, again, we go back, August, early August? That's pretty much where we wrote off the Rockies and say, yeah, you're not playoff contender.
The collapse happened right after the All-Star break. That's the total collapse of the Rockies. So
you had all of August, essentially, or at least a little bit, July, all of August, September,
throw out September because Rockies basically cashed it in and we're starting to bring up guys
I'm just
out
saying,
of Albuquerque.
You've had time, though, before the season even ended for the Rockies to analyze and go, okay, what was the issue?
If the Rockies stay pat, Nick, then I say Jeff Bridich
I think they will.
The worst general manager.
I honestly think they will. I do not anticipate anything happening in the offseason. Winter meetings, nothing. Rockies, stand pat. I believe that's what they'll do.
I'm not talking about buying anybody, but I'm talking about unloading. They need to
I don't think they'll unload. I think they're committed. I think of what you heard in at least the exit interview is that team is happy with what the pieces that they have. Don't anticipate unloading or at least a mass unload of players. You might have a couple here and there, but nothing too at least major. I don't anticipate trades. Don't anticipate big offseason acquisitions by the Rockies. I honestly think majority of this team still stays as a Colorado Rocky. And I think, and again, that could be it would not shock me, would not surprise me. I expect that out of that team.
All right, but here's just where
when you get to the top
of the hour. But just real quick, Dick Monfort called the disappointing season, without a doubt, the hardest year I've been through, and vowed to put all of our efforts, all of our money that we possibly can towards solving the team's issues. So, again, that tells me they're going to be making moves. Where? Don't know. Got an idea what they need to do, but then again,
well, you got conflicting, at least arguments, because also
it's right here.
Well, I'm just saying with Brydish, he eventually said that no, we're good.
Well, he's got a different view on things, and that's the big guy who signs the checks. All right, we do need to move into hour number 2. We will be back after these words here on 1480 KRAE.
This is 1480 KRAE Cheyenne. What you are about to hear is a sports talk radio show unlike any other that has ever before been broadcast in the capital city of Cheyenne, Wyoming, USA. This is Cheyenne, Wyoming's Sports Talk Authority. The Wyoming Cowboys, the Denver Broncos, the Colorado Rockies, and the Denver Nuggets. The show is local, it's regional, and yes, the show is national as well. Wyoming Sports Talk Today is on the air. If they're talking sports on the radio in Cheyenne, this is the place it happens. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today.
Hour number 2 of Wyoming Sports Talk Today being brought to you by Mondello's Pizzeria at 1507 Stillwater Avenue, Suite D in the Greenway Commons. Again, Paisan cuisine at its best for you and me 7 days a week. First Tier Bank directly across the street at 1508 Stillwater Avenue. Open Monday through Friday. Talk with First Tier Bank first about their special CD rates with annual percentage yields that you will like. Lennox Auto Body. Again, when you need it repaired, let Lennox do it for you. If you want it to look almost factory showroom new, then that's where you take your dinged up vehicles. And if you want it cleaned up and you want it Lennox clean, then you want to go to the Auto Glass and Detail Center over on Pershing Boulevard. B&B Appliance and TV at 714 Central Avenue. And again, they service what they sell at B&B for 50 years. They have been bringing us the appliances, whether it's a microwave, a dishwasher, washer-dryer combo. Hey, Bruce and the gang will take good care of you over there, and they also service what they sell. Medicap Pharmacy over on Bluegrass Circle, same location as always, next door to Texas Roadhouse, open Monday through Saturday. Chick-fil-A, Windmill and Delrange. Does Chick-fil-A sound good for dinner tonight? And then you get ready for the A's and the Rays? Oh, yeah. Hey, load up on some delicious chicken sandwiches, get some waffle fries, grab some mac and cheese. That is on the menu right now. And for a limited time, they invite you to try their frosted caramel coffee over at Chick-fil-A, Windmill and Delrange. Platte Valley Bank. 2 banking locations for you, open Monday through Friday on Banda High and, of course, at the corner of College and Pershing. Key of Cheyenne on Nation Way. 2019 model year, stick a fork in that, it's done. So that means you're going to see some wheeling and dealing by AJ and the crew over there. They got some remaining 19s a lot. Take it home and put some bucks back in your pocket. And the 20s are there, too. Maybe you're going to like what you see in the 2020 model year. Key of Cheyenne has the perfect vehicle for you today over on Nation Way. And we want to thank Taco John's of Cheyenne. Yes, the South Greeley Highway address is coming along nicely, but you can still, sit down and relax over there at the food truck outside at the Outlaw Saloon parking lot. Again, they're located on KRAE Avenue, Yellowstone, at the corner of Delrange and Ridge, and at the corner of Pershing and Ridge. A plethora of locations to eat at Taco John's. And we get things underway. Scoreboard time. Brought to you by Pepsi of Cheyenne. Here's Nick.
Recapping last night's action with LCCC women's volleyball down in La Junta, Colorado, taking on Otero Junior College, where for LCCC, fortunately lost that contest 3-1. So with the loss, LCCC falls to 3-18 on the season. Coming up tonight, as it is the start of the NHL regular season, 4 games on the slate. First game will be the Toronto Maple Leafs at home. They will host the Ottawa Senators. The Washington Capitals travel to St. Louis to see the Blues, the defending Stanley Cup champs. That game can be seen on NBC Sports Network. That's at 6 o'clock here Mountain Time. Edmonton Oilers at home. They will host the Vancouver Canucks. And last but not least, also too on NBC Sports Network. 8:30 is the anticipated puck drop of this contest. But out in Sin City, Las Vegas, Nevada, T-Mobile Arena, where the Vegas Golden Knights will play host to the San Jose Sharks. That's what's happening. NHL action for for tonight. And do want to remind folks, coming up this Friday here on 1480 KRAE, 101.1 FM, 1480KRAE.com is where you can hear the contest. And also, too, where you can watch this game. You can see it on Periscope via Twitter and also to our 1480 KRAE YouTube channel. It will be at least Casper Kelly Walsh live in Casper, Wyoming, as they play host to Cheyenne Central, as it is Week 5, game number 6 of Class 4A 2019 high school football. Again, looking forward to this contest, as it will be a 6 o'clock kickoff up there in Casper, 5:30-ish tentative pregame show here on 1480 KRAE.
Major League Baseball, that's all I got to offer to you tonight. It's the Rays and the A's in the Oakland Coliseum, prime time, 6 o'clock. Winner to move on, and who do they face? Oh, I think it's the Houston Astros, right? Similar to the Nats winning last night and facing the Los Angeles Dodgers, the best record in the National League, the Astros with the best record in the American League. Our scoreboard brought to you by Pepsi of Cheyenne.
At Mountain Dew, we say here's to the doers. The people who know you gotta do what you
Halloween Festival Farmers and Crafters Market, Saturday, October 19th from 10 a.m. till 4 p.m. Brought to you by Riverbend Nursery and Stone Company on Yellowstone Road in North Cheyenne.
Capital Lumber is number one in Cheyenne. Are you listening? We're all the lumber store you'll ever need. For electrical, plumbing, paint, and tools, lumber and hardware, we're for you. And we're out to earn your business, yes indeed. Capital Lumber is number one today. Are you listening? Capital Lumber's at your service all the way.
Capital Lumber Company, serving our area for over 53 years at 1222 Dunn Avenue in Cheyenne.
To be your fullest self, you gotta eat like it. Top off your tank with all your faves, or dig into 3 new items in our new Full-Up menu at Taco John's. When you're not taking any guff from your hunger, get the Boss Burrito or Boss Bowl's bigger flavors. Or go for the Sausalada Enchiladas bold, saucy style. And don't forget the better bites of the aerodynamic Taco Perfecto. Never run on empty with the new Full-Up menu. Taco John's. Bigger, bolder, better. At participating locations.
Are you looking for a pharmacist who will actually take the time to talk to you? Then come to Medicap Pharmacy. We're dedicated to healthcare only, which means we'll fill your prescription quickly, and then we'll make time to listen, answer your questions, explain your prescriptions, and tell you about possible drug interactions.
Medicap Pharmacy will always make time for you.
Medicap Pharmacy, 1947 Bluegrass Circle, next to Texas Roadhouse in Cheyenne. Or call 635-3712.
For almost 60 years, 1480 KRAE has been Cheyenne's home for good times and great oldies. Add to that live play-by-play sports featuring high school football and basketball, along with LCCC men's and women's basketball. Now combo that with KYOY FM, and you have Cheyenne and the area's only locally owned AM and FM radio stations. But we don't stop there. We also have 2 FM translators which serve the area with programming from both KRAE and KYOY. And that equals a lot of bang for your advertising dollar. Radio yesterday and now today, along with our websites, web streams, and digital ventures, makes us your one-stop shop. For more information, please call Don Morris at 307-637-0301.
Here's the latest weather forecast on 1480 KRAE.
For today, it'll be mostly sunny with highs around 60, winds of the south at 15 to 20 miles per hour. For tonight, it'll be mostly clear with lows around 27 and winds out of the west at 15 to 20 miles per hour. On Thursday, it'll be sunny with highs around 61. And on Thursday night, it'll be mostly clear with lows around 36.
Here, the season never ends. From Wyoming sports to the Broncos in Denver. From Rockies baseball to talking hoops with Nuggets basketball. Local, regional, and national. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today, right here on AM 1480 KRAE.
Welcome back to Wyoming Sports Talk Today. Larry Peroletti, along with Sonny Boy across the way there, Nick Peroletti. We bring on our next guest. He is Michael Peterson, host of the Powder Blue Review podcast and deputy manager for boltsfromtheblue.com. Michael, thank you so much for joining us today on Wyoming Sports Talk Today.
Yeah, guys, glad to be here.
Let's talk about the San Diego Chargers. The
Wrong
Los Angeles
city.
Chargers. I caught myself. I'm old. Forget about it. Anyway, the L.A. Chargers. Let's talk about them. And it's a typical start for the Chargers. They're at the Mendoza line right now. They're 2-2. It's a slow starting outfit. Is this slow start caused a little bit by the Melvin Gordon situation, the holdout? I mean, put your finger on it for me, Michael.
So I don't think at all that this is because of Melvin Gordon's holdout. Honestly, the run game and overall the offense actually looked pretty good. But I should say just for the first half of the first couple games of the season, because in the second half, especially through the first 3 weeks of this year, they were outscored 35-3, I believe is the right number there. So it wasn't so much about starting the games as much as it was finishing these games. And I don't think Melvin Gordon being there really would have changed any of that.
He's an ageless one, and he's still slinging the football all over the field. Give us your thoughts right now about the man, number 17, still calling the signals.
I think he's been absolutely amazing. And just when you think, he might be going the way of Peyton Manning, when he kind of all of a sudden dropped a lot of that arm strength, couldn't make a lot of the same plays, the guy just surprises you. When you take a look back at this game against the Dolphins on Sunday, both his touchdown passes were actually caused by him using a little bit of, surprising mobility. There was one where he flushed to the pocket out to the left side, and at the last second when the defender stepped up to him, he threw it sidearm, hit Troymaine Pope in the flat, and he scurried for a touchdown. On the second one, Phillip Rivers was stepping up in the pocket, and as soon as he looked like he was about to take off, he fired this bullet directly to his left to Austin Eckler, who again scooted up the sideline for a touchdown. So, just when you think that he can't make too many plays outside the pocket, he kind of shows you he still has a trick or two up his sleeve.
1,254 yards through the first 4 games for Phillip Rivers.
Yeah, without a doubt. But again, for Phillip Rivers, a guy that you mentioned, the ageless wonder, guy might age a bit after what's going on with his offensive line. You look so far, 4 games of the season, 11 sacks in total for my stats here. Just talking a little bit about that of the offensive line right now for the L.A. Chargers.
Yeah, so the offensive line hasn't been, I would say, as bad as I would expect, especially when you've got on the left tackle position, you've got Trent Scott, who's a second-year undrafted free agent out of Grambling State. And on the other side, you've got Sam Kevy, who's a former 6th-round pick, which is tough because you've got on the roster, you look at Forrest Lamp, who was a 2nd-round pick in 2017, arguably one of the best linemen in that entire draft, who played 4 years of left tackle at Western Kentucky. And then you've got Trey Pipkins, who they believe was worth a 3rd-round pick in this past year's draft. And these two guys who, they liked so much, use these high draft picks on, but for some reason they're just not cutting it, whether it's on the practice field or anywhere else. So you're stuck with 2 guys that, probably wouldn't start on plenty of other teams. But at the end of the day, Phillip Rivers has been clean enough and healthy enough to continue to start games and still put up these types of numbers.
Well, as we like to do with the rest of the NFL, or at least insiders that we get here on Wyoming Sports Talk Today, before we talk about the matchup between the Chargers and the Denver Broncos coming up this weekend. But looking back at least 2 preseason projections, again, we'll include the L.A. Chargers on this one from USA Today Sports, where they have the L.A. Chargers going 12-4 this season. They were going to win that AFC West by a game over the Kansas City Chiefs, but also, too, this is a Chargers team that USA Today decided to say that, yes, it is their year to win the Super Bowl. Now, in your opinion, Michael, again, we got 4 games into the season, 12 more left for the L.A. Chargers, but Is this a Chargers team that you're seeing on the field that can win the AFC West over the Kansas City Chiefs? And also, too, looking at that prediction, at least preseason prediction, could this team make it to the Super Bowl?
As things stand right now, I'd honestly be happy to see them make a wild card slot. I can't believe the injuries. I was talking about it today with some of my other co-writers. There are a plethora of injuries at so many important positions. I think they're down 3 wide receivers. They're down the top 4 tight ends on their depth chart. They're down Derwin James. They're down Derwin James' backup. Some people aren't sure if Russell Okung is going to be back this season whatsoever from his pulmonary embolism. There's just, again, so many positions that are so important to the success of a team in this league that 12-4, I think, is a long shot. And as things stand right now, I think the team should be happy to get to 9-7, maybe 10-6, and just kind of scurry into the playoffs.
You look at the Chargers' current home field, which has been their stadium for the last few years. To me, it almost feels like when they play there, the fan base is just not totally 100% Chargers. I mean, they just don't feel like they're comfortable in that stadium. Obviously, they're looking forward to getting the heck out of there. But do you get that sense sometimes that the Chargers just, to me, it almost feels like they're back at Qualcomm, so to speak.
Yeah, it's been tough. Even after a year where they went 12-4, you think the fans would show up a little bit more. And according to some guys that I've spoke to out in L.A., I am here on the East Coast, but they said that they've seen a lot more jerseys, a lot more powder blue and blue in general in those stands, while, the last year in Qualcomm, you'd be lucky to see 30-40% of that stadium filled with Chargers jerseys. So I think they're moving forward, but I still think this is a team that probably won't get too settled in until they're...
I think he turned his head, and we lost you. Michael. Paging Michael. Are you back? He turned his head. And when he turned his head, we lost him. He's on the East Coast.
Yeah. But he's still an insider for the LA Chargers as well. But looks like, we did lose.
There you go. I think you can try to let's take a quick timeout. We'll let you call him back, and we'll be right back after these words. First Tier Bank strives to remain competitive and offers some of the best CD rates in the community, as well as area banks and credit unions per Rate Watch reports. How does that make a difference to you? First Tier Bank can assist you in securing some of the best rates on CDs. First Tier Bank offers the personalized customer service you've grown accustomed to and deserve. Plus, feel confident that your finances are taken care of by a responsible, knowledgeable staff. Call 307-632-3500 and ask for Caitlin or Debbie. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think authentic Italian. When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think made fresh from scratch.
Silent, and then the call dropped.
You're there with us, Michael?
Yeah, I'm here.
Online and mobile banking products with features such as bill pay, recurring transfers, mobile deposit, and now digital wallet. At Platte Valley Bank, you can manage your money how you want, when you want. Whether you prefer to bank in person, over the phone, or online, Platte Valley Bank makes it easy to take care of your finances.
Platte Valley Bank, member FDIC. Cheyenne Urological has been the cornerstone of urinary care to Cheyenne and its surrounding communities for over 20 years, with doctors Bryant, Everett, Gajewski, and their highly trained staff providing top-quality treatment for prostate cancer, urinary tract infections, kidney stones, impotence, and incontinence. Cheyenne Urological is now offering cutting-edge robotic surgery. So call Cheyenne Urological at 635-4131 for compassionate, expert urinary care. That's 635-4131.
Got something to say? Then get it off your chest right now. Phone lines are open at 307-514-1071. Make your opinion count and call the show. Wyoming Sports Talk today.
Back once again with Michael Peterson, host of the Powder Blue Review podcast, deputy manager for Bolts from the Blue.com. Whatever you do, Michael, keep your head straight and point towards the west.
Or either it's our folks that's about here in Cheyenne.
Yeah, who knows? We're still using tin cans and some copper wire. Anyway, Michael, good to have you back. Let's talk about, you were talking about with the Los Angeles Chargers, expecting them to get a wild card, possibly. And again, I think we're both on the same page where we can hand the crown to the Kansas City Chiefs to win the West this year. But looking at the two other teams, the Raiders and the Broncos, and you got the Broncos this Sunday, shocked a little bit by the Denver Broncos start?
Yeah, a little bit. I honestly didn't think Case Keenum was the answer to your guys' quarterback situation last year. And I know Joe Flacco, is on, the other end, the wrong side of the hill here, but this guy's still got a strong arm. I think he's a smart quarterback, big-bodied guy, and I know Elway really likes those types of guys. And he's got some good skill position guys around him. I do believe in Phillip Lindsay and Royce Freeman as a nice 1-2 in the backfield. Cortland Sutton, Emmanuel Sanders, two different dynamic receivers that get it done in two different ways in their own right. You got Noah Fant, and I'm a former Iowa Hawkeye, so good to see Noah Fant with a team inside this division. I think there's a lot of young talent, and I think with this team, it just has to click. And once it clicks, I think you'll see them rolling a little bit more than they have been to start 2019.
Well, as you talk about this team clicking eventually here in 2019, again, this game coming up this Sunday, they're in Carson, California, taking on the LA Chargers. 2:05 here Mountain Time. You can watch it on CBS, where the Chargers at this point in time, 6.5-point favorite in this contest. But looking at this Sunday's matchup between these two, is this the game that it will click for the Broncos, or is it going to be another L for Denver on this long season?
So I don't think you can ever count out an AFC West divisional game, whether it's, one team's looking pretty good against a team that, could be winless or just not looking too good. Sometimes that team who isn't looking too good can surprise, and I would never look past the Broncos to lay down and die in front of the Chargers. I think this is a game that the Broncos could very well steal, and if the Chargers, depending on which Chargers team comes out, but if it's the same team that came out the first couple weeks where they couldn't finish any of these games, I could see the Broncos definitely take advantage. I mean, they didn't have to do too much. Last season, they stole a game, I believe, at StubHub Center as well, and there's no reason why they couldn't surprise the Chargers again this year.
Do we get a good idea on the Raiders over their next couple of games, where they have the Bears, where they'll host them in Oakland, and then they'll go to Lambeau Field to take on the Packers? They're 2-2. They beat the Colts. They beat the Broncos in Week 1. Then they got beat up by the Chiefs and the Vikings. This team is just too Jekyll and Hyde for me. And again, they have internal problems as well. Do we get a good idea which Raiders team it will be after the next couple of weeks?
I think you can't look too much into their game against the Chicago Bears. That defense is absolutely something else. I'm not looking forward to the Chargers taking them on later this season, because you can put any high-powered offense against that defense, and I'm sure they're going to have some problems. But the Raiders have been kind of middle of the road, as I expected. I was surprised to see them beat the Colts. I know the Colts kind of took the Chargers, obviously, to the wire as well. And the whole surprise with Antonio Brown being, I guess, as crazy as some people thought. They're lacking, I would say, a true wide receiver one. They have a surprise in their tight end, Darren Waller. But Tyrell Williams, a former Los Angeles Charger wide receiver, stepping into the head role there. They got some good pieces on defense as well. Obviously had 3 first-round picks in the draft this past year. 2 of those went on defense, to a safety and a defensive end. And I think they're doing a lot of the right things. They're surprising. I think the way they started against the Chiefs earlier this year was a good indicator of maybe what they could be in a best-case scenario situation. But at the end of the day, I think middle of the road might be best-case scenario for the Raiders over the season as a whole. But I don't expect them to do too well in the next couple weeks.
With going back to the Chargers and Phillip Rivers, and right now his favorite target has been Keenan Allen. Are we seeing? And again, he's been with the Chargers now since 2013. But are we seeing that potential budding of the wideout superstar in Keenan Allen?
Yes, I believe so. And having followed him. Watched him since he was drafted. He's been special from the get-go. And this isn't a guy who's going to win with tremendous physical capabilities. He's not super fast. He's not super big. I believe he's just 6'2", maybe 210 or less pounds. But the guy is one of the best route runners in the entire NFL, and I still don't think he gets enough credit no matter how much he gets talked about. He has one of the best releases in the game. It doesn't matter if you press him, you play off. He's going to find a way to get open, and I think all he's needed is a chance to be pelted with targets like he has been. I mean, with Mike Williams and Travis Benjamin and now Dontrell Inman just put on IR recently, you're looking at Keenan Allen right now with the team's 5th and 6th wide receivers potentially against the Denver Broncos if Benjamin and Williams don't get back. So he's doing exactly what I expected him to do. So as of right now, he leads the NFL in receiving yardage. He's not always been a big scorer, just 6 touchdowns each the last 2 years, but this might be a year he's finally able to break out and get into that top 5 wide receiver category, like guys with Julio, OBJ, and Antonio Brown, before he was out of the league.
Yeah, the former Cal Bear is he's doing it on the field right now. Hey, Michael, we want to thank you so much for joining us, and again, appreciate that you hung around when we had the phone difficulty. So again, take care, and hopefully we get a chance to chat with you again here on Wyoming Sports Talk today.
Yeah, guys, I appreciate it. Have a good one.
All right, Michael Peterson, host of the Powder Blue Review podcast and deputy manager for the Bolts from theblue.com. We will take a timeout, and we will be back with more. The team at Chick-fil-A, Windmill and Del Range, directly across from Powers Field and Menards, are proud sponsors of the student-athletes for the 2019-2020 school year for high school and LCCC. Not only do they support the athletes, but they are ready for your next cater-out event, meeting, or gathering. A special thank you to Chick-fil-A and all they do for 1480 KRAE and our sister station KYOI-FM during the year. For more information, call Chick-fil-A at 638-4444.
You love the Lennox difference, from collision repair to minor nicks and dents. Certified quality you can trust. Nobody cares about your car more than us. Lennox Auto Body, we do what we say. We fix it right and get you on your way. No shortcuts, no compromise. Lennox Auto Body. No shortcuts, no compromise.
Lennox Auto Body at 1020 Dunn Avenue and the Detail Center at 617 East Pershing Boulevard, Cheyenne.
B&B Appliance and TV has been your locally owned appliance store for 49 years. Not only do we offer several major brands, we also service what we sell. And we have the largest parts department in Laramie County. Next time you're in a big box store, just ask to see their parts and service department. Then come visit the appliance experts at B&B Appliance and TV, 714 Central Avenue. Best brands, hometown service.
Come one, come all to the 3rd Annual Fall Halloween Festival Farmers and Crafters Market presented by family-owned and operated Riverbend Nursery and Stone Company. This annual event will be Saturday, October 19th from 10 a.m. till 4 p.m. at 8908 Yellowstone Road. It's only $5 entry per carload. There will be plenty of vendors and crafters, hay rides, pumpkins, straw and corn stalks for sale, along with crafts for kids, fall and Halloween gift items, and a whole lot more, including food vendors serving up delicious eats. All youngsters are encouraged to wear their Halloween costumes too. So mark it down and plan to attend a fun day at the 3rd Annual Fall Halloween Festival Farmers and Crafters Market, Saturday, October 19th from 10 a.m. till 4 p.m. Brought to you by Riverbend Nursery and Stone Company on Yellowstone Road in North Cheyenne.
Capital Lumber is number one in Cheyenne. Are you listening? We're all the lumber store you'll ever need. For electrical, plumbing, paint, and tools, lumber and hardware, we're for you. And we're out to earn your business, yes indeed. Capital Lumber is number one today. Are you listening? Capital Lumber's at your service all the way.
Capital Lumber Company, serving our area for over 53 years at 1222 Dunn Avenue in Cheyenne.
You can actually get something good for your health at a drive-thru window. When you order your next prescription from Medicap Pharmacy, call ahead and use our drive-thru window. Or you can call for free delivery. You can even log on to Medicap.com and order a prescription refill. Your Medicap pharmacist will call you to make arrangements for pickup or delivery.
Medicap Pharmacy, we'll always make time for you.
Medicap Pharmacy, 1947 Bluegrass Circle, next to Texas Roadhouse in Cheyenne. Or call 635-3712.
Here's the latest weather forecast on 1480 KRAE.
For today, it'll be mostly sunny with highs around 60 and winds out of the south at 15 to 20 miles per hour. For tonight, it'll be mostly clear with lows around 27 and winds out of the west at 15 to 20 miles per hour. On Thursday, it'll be sunny with highs around 61, and on Thursday night, it'll be mostly clear with lows around 36.
You bleed brown and gold? So do we. Wyoming Cowboys football and basketball is always front and center on this show. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today, and it's here on AM 1480, KRAE.
Well, we went from hockey to Major League Baseball last hour, and now we're going to go from football back to Major League Baseball because some jobs have opened up. And I guess, Nick, you know, if you look at the jobs that are available right now and you are a potential candidate, do you really want it? And I guess the worst of them out there right now is going to work for the Pirates, would you say? Clint Hurdle is out?
Again, Pirates are probably your team that has the freshest, again, where that's kind of a, you know, so to speak, a fresh easel where you could paint your own picture, so to speak, if you are that new manager there in Pittsburgh. Again, a team that is fire sale for the past couple of seasons, has new up-and-coming, at least developmenting players, a team that entertained wild card. They were interesting, you know, for the first half of the season, then kind of petered out. But is the job at Pittsburgh unattractive to those? Not really. I think if anything, if you are a new manager, you look at that of, oh, okay, here's my new slate to do whatever I want to develop a team in my style, my system, however I want. That's what I see with the Pittsburgh Pirates. But now, again, compared to what is already set in stone with Chicago, with Joe Madden parting at least mutual ways up there with the Chicago Cubs, obviously that is you get in, you win now. Or at least you have a potential winner, barring what we saw here. Again, a Chicago Cubs team that was well within to win that NL Central and just had an unbelievable collapse in the month of September.
But the question is, do you blame Joe Madden for that collapse? I mean, did he take the fall? That's what I think he did.
Maybe, without seeing what happened in that part, at least, you know, mutual, at least, departure there in Chicago, maybe you put some blame on him. I mean, again, the guy, you go back to where we were talking yesterday about Vance Joseph and Denver Broncos when he was the head coach, of how he put all those losses. The blame was on him. It's on me. We lost because of me. I got to get better. I think Joe Madden's probably that same guy where he takes those personal and realizes, hey, it's unacceptable. We shouldn't have had that collapse. We should be in the playoffs. We should have won that NL Central. And yes, this is on me. Now, what else kind of stemmed from that behind the scenes? Again, maybe we'll find out about that or kind of figure out things, whether it's front office kind of butting heads with Joe Madden, who knows? Or there was just time for Joe Madden to kind of, you know, go off into the sunset, so to speak. But Chicago, obviously, the Cubs, at least that job is
it's more attractive than any of them.
It is, yeah, absolutely attractive. But I'm just saying, in Pittsburgh, though, with the Pirates, it's not a job, for instance, of, you know, you look at Miami. Granted, Miami's probably on the same vein as Pittsburgh, same vein as what you look at with maybe Toronto, Baltimore, again, those teams that are rebuilding and trying to do something special.
And Matty Lee's in place there.
Yeah, but either way,
Jeter's boy.
Yeah, but again, going back to the Pittsburgh Pirates, it's still, for a manager to get hired on, it's a option, a possibility to look at it in a positive light of, you got a lot of young talent there, a lot of at least pieces to develop and make something special with that Pirates team.
Well, and here's what's going to happen with the Pirates. They're not going to hire from within, because if you look at their farm system is even worse than the big club. So if you're really, and I hate to say this, but if you're really desperate for a job, you're going to apply for the Pirates position. It's just not attractive. And again, they're not going to throw, they've already shown that. They're not going to throw gobs of money. There is potential on the Pirates team, but also, too, they're not afraid to pull the rug from underneath you as well during the season and get rid of some of the talent.
I mean, well, that's the talent, but, they stuck around for so long with Clint Hurdle for whatever reason, where they've shown some loyalty on the manager side of things of, yes, even in rough years, we'll still stick with you, and hopefully things change under you. It is, look at with the Colorado Rockies of how quick they are to change out managers. Look at what happened with Walt Weiss. Couple seasons, it's not working. Bye-bye. Bud Black, you're available. We'll take you. And we'll see how long with Bud Black.
And he just went 3 seasons. I think Walt went 4 with the Rocks.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens with this. But again, at least the Pirates' job, it's not desperation. It's not, oh, hey, I need a job, I'll apply, and then I have a good shot at getting this. I don't think that's the scenario out there in Pittsburgh. I think they'll attract big names, or at least guys who have been in the business for a long time, who know what they're doing. And I believe with Pittsburgh, with that franchise, they want to get back on winning. They want to get back to where they were a couple seasons ago, where infamously where we watched that wild card game there in Pittsburgh, where the Giants took care of business. Again, the fan base was healthy. One of the loudest, at least postseason, crowds of MLB history. At least that's what kind of people claim out there in Pittsburgh. But it is a city that drives on, at least that is used to winning teams, postseason play, championships as well too. Again, i.e. with the Pittsburgh Steelers. But I think with what they've done in recent years of basically saying, hey, Andrew McCutchen, we appreciate what you did, but bye-bye, you're going to the Giants. Or from then on there. But again, they've done that where I think they saw, hey, the aging vets, it's not getting it done right now. We need to start anew. Basically push the reset button. And I think this was the final move to get rid of Clint Hurdle and say, all right, we're starting over. This is finally it. We're moving in that positive direction of winning.
It'll be interesting to see who will accept that job. Angels, and this was Brad Ausmus, 1 year, gone. I mean, after a long tenure by Mike Scioscia, and Brad Ausmus comes in, and again, it was disappointing for the Angels. Trout gets hurt.
Again, you can't equate to that where he is your big piece, but that is also true. But that's alarming for the Angels that he goes down, you got no one to pick up the slack.
Exactly, and then also too,
and you have issues with Ohtani where he's injury prone as well. He was supposed to be your
got an aging first baseman.
Yeah.
So the thing is with
he's as I say, you pretty much DH at this point.
I mean, he's a Hall of Famer. I mean, a potential Hall of Famer. But the thing is with the Angels, there's rumors circulating right now that Joe Maddon may step into that position.
If I'm Joe Maddon, what job, again, outside of Chicago, where you look at, Pittsburgh as an option, you look at the LA Angels of what they got going on in the AL West, of how competitive it is in that division, or you look at, you stay out west, and even in the state of California, you look up north with the San Francisco Giants, where we saw that the Giants throughout the season had a shot. They entertained a wild card, where everyone kind of wrote them off, picking them to be dead last in the NL West. They were competitive. They still have talent on that team. You got a GM that is, again, known for building up winning franchises, clearly down in Los Angeles with the Dodgers. If I'm Joe Maddon, what seems more attractive, at least of those three, I'd look at San Francisco with, again, the NL West. Outside of the Dodgers, you have a shot.
And you
have a shot of being competitive.
Bochy, his parting comment, and this is what he said, whoever takes over, he's got the best job in baseball, and he means that.
Yeah.
So, again, but here's the candidates that I've heard. I've heard Maddon, Joe Girardi. I've heard Dusty Baker's name swirling around again.
That's been out there for a long while. Again, we'll see if Dusty comes back. But again, as a Giants fan and looking at that franchise, who would you rather have? You go Joe Maddon. Again, what have you done for us recently, or what have you done for baseball recent? You brought the Cubs a championship. You knew what you were doing down in Tampa Bay.
Let's just say that happens, Nick. Does Joe Maddon relate to Dickerson and Yastrzemski?
He had to do it at Tampa. He had to do it at Tampa Bay. He had to do it at Chicago. Okay. Let's be honest. Again, the development, the young guys, the young talent. Look at with Longoria. If Longoria sticks around, there's a familiar face right
But
there in
also
the Giants
going
clubhouse.
back
But I'm just saying, you got young, up-and-coming talent of this Giants franchise as what he dealt with in Tampa, where he developed that into not so much a powerhouse, but it was a winning nature down there with the Rays. You had up-and-coming young talent with the Chicago Cubs. Took care of that, got them their championship for the first time in over 100 years. And now you would have the same thing, at least in San Francisco with the Giants, where you do have that young talent to at least teach, mold under your system, and possibly get it back into that postseason where, again, those Giants fans, that front office, they expect nothing less. You go off of, here we are, 2019, 5 years removed from a World Series title for that.
Right.
For
But,
that
you go back to Madden and the Angels. You got to remember, he was a bench coach when they won their World Series, too. So he's still revered, so to speak, in the Angels' history as well.
Yeah.
And then you look at another job. Ned Yost said, I'm done.
Kansas City. That's probably
shambles
the ugliest job to take.
You think it's worse than Pittsburgh?
I think without a doubt.
And they're
Kansas City proves that they have nothing upcoming. That this could be on the same vein as Baltimore. That Kansas City, you might be back in kind of the dark ages of where you were for a long time. I think this is Kansas City proves to me that the Royals, they might be awful for a long time. This is going to be, they're going to flirt with Baltimore being probably the joke of MLB for a long time.
And maybe the Motor City Kitties of Detroit as well.
Yeah, that's true too. That AL Central outside of where you got Minnesota and Cleveland, Detroit's just awful. We'll see what happens with the White Sox. The White Sox every year it seems like they're trying to move forward, but they just kind of stay stationary and they're happy at being 500 or at least just a little bit below.
Yeah.
But they slowly at least kind of creep up. But Detroit, awful. Kansas City, really bad. That is probably the most unattractive, at least, job in baseball at this point.
Then you have the Padres. Now, again, 2 managerial jobs open in the West. So the Padres, and again, the Andy Green hiring back in the day, to me, was surprising. But you look at the Padres.
They got young talent, too.
And they've been throwing a buttload of money out there.
Hosmer, you picked up some big names.
Machado. But then I have a hard time with management ownership there in San Diego. They're throwing all this money out, and then they take a look at midway through the season, whether they're at the Mendoza line or they're a few games under. Then they start shipping off potentially good players. I look back a couple of years ago where they got rid of most of their bullpen. So another job for me that's a frustrating gig is San Diego. I don't know because you got Tatis Jr., Machado, you still have Will Myers there. Like you said, Hosmer. You can still build your team around him. I don't know if I'd want that job.
Yeah, again, San Diego franchise is not known for winning.
They're smarts.
Yeah. For a manager, again, not saying it's a bad job. Same vein as what you got with San Francisco. I'll even say the same vein with the LA Angels, where those 3 teams there in California, you got the mixture of your vets that know how to get it done. And you look at Madison Bumgarner with the Giants. You look at what you got with Pujols. I'll even say not an AG vet, but a guy who has the talent. Obviously, what happened to him this season was just an anomaly, and he'll probably be back better than ever and healthy is Mike Trout with the Angels. And again, everyone you listed off with the San Diego Padres, those are 3 very attractive jobs out there, at least on the West Coast. But they're going to fight internally, especially those 2 with the Padres and the Giants, internally in that same division of who you joining? What looks more attractive? What outside features do each team offer that is going to be attractive to a Joe Madden or some big name that wants to at least get back into management?
Do they pursue Bochy?
The Padres? No, I honestly think.
You think Bochy's done?
I think he's officially done.
Does he?
It shows the indications that he is done. In his comments, all he said is that outside, the only managerial job he wants to do is compete or at least be a manager in the World Baseball Classic for Team France.
Right.
Was the last thing he wanted to do.
Because
and I honestly believe that he is officially done in MLB as at least in the managerial role.
Well, one of his good friends who coached with him at San Diego as well as San Francisco, Tim Flannery, he stepped away and is still away.
Well, and again, he's more on the
he's on the MLB side. He's more of an insider.
He's an analyst as well too for NBC's Bay Area.
Do you see Bochy actually going, into the studio? Or I mean, I think he's going to get bored. I know he's about my age, but I'm just thinking. The guy
could he go?
Could
he go a Joe Torre route and be front office for Major League Baseball and do something like that on the inside? I don't foresee it. I honestly believe that
he's retired.
I think he's going to enjoy what he did as a baseball player, manager, getting those World Series championships, doing what he did for the Padres, for the Giants, those franchises. I honestly think Bruce Bochy is just happy just to be done, just out. I probably equate him to where we're seeing, as wacky, in not putting him on the same parallels, but drawing some similarities. As you look in the basketball, at least realm, with a former, at least a Hall of Famer, you could say, I'll say a basketball great. That'd be former Warriors head coach Don Nelson. Don Nelson's basically stepped away from the game, and I think he's retired and become at least a pseudo hippie in Hawaii.
Yeah, but Don Nelson's also in his 70s too.
Yeah, but Bruce Bochy's also too getting up there in age.
I said he's about my age.
I'm just saying with Bruce Bochy, I think he'll go that same vein of he's happy to step away from the game and just enjoy life.
Just go fishing.
Fishing, whatever he wants to do. I honestly believe that. I don't foresee him to get back in a managerial role. Don't think he'll get in an analyst side. Don't think he'll be a part of MLB in the front office. I think it's just he's called it a career, and he's going to enjoy it.
I'm going to bounce over to football here, and then we got to take one last break, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
If you did not hear, Bill Bidwell, owner of the NFL's Cardinals, has passed away. He died today at the age of 88. He was surrounded by his family and loved ones. Again, Bill Bidwell. I want to. The Cardinals have been in the Bidwell family forever, and I'm trying to. Let me see here. Yeah, Charles bought the Chicago Cardinals.
Yeah.
In 1932, Bill was associated with the team for 8 decades. He started as a ball boy as a child, went to work for the team full-time in 1960. The Cardinals' first season in St. Louis after a stint in the Navy, became the owner in 72, and then the team moved to Arizona in 1988. Wow, that's a long time to be with the franchise again.
And I think the Cardinals, outside of, I think it's like the Bears and Packers, third oldest franchise in NFL history, I do believe. They've existed early on in
so we're talking
the
Chicago Cardinals in 32. So, what is the NFL in its 100th season right now? So, that is a...
Like I said, I think it's either third or fourth longest franchise, at least in history. Again, outside of the moves, yes, Chicago, they were the St. Louis Cardinals. They were, again, when they moved to Phoenix, they were the Phoenix Cardinals, and then eventually became the Arizona.
Well, and again, too, you're looking at Bill Bidwell dying today at the age of 88. So he's the second generation.
Mm-hmm.
Bill's father having the franchise in the 30s. So he takes over after his father passes away in 72, and now it goes to the third generation Bidwell.
And I think out of the entire Cardinals franchise, even outside of the Super Bowl eras and just those, at least, championships, I don't think the Cardinals have ever won a championship, if I stand corrected, right?
Not a Super Bowl, no.
Well, I think even outside of the Super Bowl era, I don't think the Cardinals even won a football championship back then.
No, they were, when they got to the Super Bowl, that was the big
well, yeah, that was a big thing, but they have not been champions. So, again, however long that team, again, as you mentioned, 1932, it's kind of an for a franchise that lasts that long with no championships, it's kind of tough on Cardinals fans at this point in time.
And you think about this, too. And again, this is something that was, I don't know how to describe it, but this is what Bill Bidwell did while he was there. Despite a lack of success on the field, he was ahead of the curve with diversity in the NFL. Hired the first black female executive in league history, Adele Harris, the NFL's first black contract negotiator, Bob Wallace, and the league's first black head coach, general manager tandem, Dennis Green.
Oh, yeah.
So, and Rod Graves back in the day. So, again, ahead of his time, so to speak, Bill Bidwell. All right, we do need to take a timeout. We'll come back. We'll get ready to wrap things up here after these words on 1480 KRAE.
To be your fullest self, you gotta eat like it. Top off your tank with all your faves, or dig into 3 new items in our new Full-Up menu at Taco John's. When you're not taking any guff from your hunger, get the Boss Burrito or Boss Bowls bigger flavors. Or go for the Sausalada Enchiladas bold, saucy style. And don't forget the better bites of the aerodynamic Taco Perfecto. Never run on empty with the new Full-Up menu. Taco John's. Bigger, bolder, better. At participating locations.
If it happens on the diamond, the hardwood, the field, or even the ice, we'll talk about it on Wyoming Sports Talk today. Hi, this is Nick Peretti inviting you to join Larry Peretti and myself each weekday from 3 to 5 p.m. as we, along with our special guests, talk sports locally, regionally, and nationally. And you can chat with us too at 307-514-1071. It's Wyoming Sports Talk today only on 1480 KRAE, and you can stream live with us at 1480krae.com.
Wisdom, expertise, compassion, qualities that are the foundation of Cheyenne Urological, with Doctors Bryant, Everett, Dayeski, and their highly trained staff providing top quality treatment for prostate cancer, urinary tract infections, kidney stones, impotence, and incontinence. You can trust Cheyenne Urological to give you the highest quality urinary care. Now offering the latest in robotic surgery. Call Cheyenne Urological at 635-4131. That's 635-4131.
First Tier Bank strives to remain competitive and offers some of the best CD rates in the community, as well as area banks and credit unions per Rate Watch reports. How does that make a difference to you? First Tier Bank can assist you in securing some of the best rates on CDs. First Tier Bank offers the personalized customer service you've grown accustomed to and deserve. Plus, feel confident that your finances are taken care of by a responsible, knowledgeable staff. Call 307-632-3500 and ask for Caitlin or Debbie. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Here's the latest weather forecast on 1480 KRAE.
For today, it'll be mostly sunny with highs around 60, winds out of the south at 15 to 20 miles per hour. For tonight, it'll be mostly clear with lows around 27 and winds out of the west at 15 to 20 miles per hour. On Thursday, it'll be sunny with highs around 61, and on Thursday night, it'll be mostly clear with lows around 36.
Here the season never ends. From Wyoming sports to the Broncos in Denver. From Rockies baseball to talking hoops with Nuggets basketball. Local, regional, and national. This is Wyoming Sports Talk today, right here on AM 1480 KRAE.
It's time to play the game. Put your money on the table. Come on. It's the one game you never,
Just a couple of minutes here before we got to wrap things up. Derek Carr has come to the aid of one Vontez Burfict, who says his teammate is misunderstood. His teammate's really taking this hard.
We didn't get to at least talk about that, so might as well mention what happened.
Well, again, the helmet hit.
Mm-hmm. Or I guess with Burfict, just to, because again we have not talked about, but obviously it's been in the news, and I would assume, you know, unless you're at least living under a rock, you've not heard about this. But again, the helmet-to-helmet hit, he has been suspended for the entire at least season. The NFL came down and made that decision, which, again, in my opinion,
excessive.
I don't believe so. If anything, I take it as the NFL basically making him as an example of, we're not going to tolerate this. We're really serious about concussions and CTE and all this, all the medical issues. And I think that's what this is that the NFL is saying, this is what's going to happen if you continue to do stuff like this in the NFL.
Well, Burfict was already on the top 10 most wanted by the NFL for the dumb things he did at Cincinnati. Okay? So, you know, they were waiting for an excuse.
Yeah.
And they're going to make him pay for it.
Like I said, I honestly believe this is the NFL making him the poster boy.
Exactly.
Saying, hey, we're not taking this anymore.
Carr also referenced in his little press conference the fight between Baltimore Ravens cornerback Marlon Humphrey and Cleveland Browns receiver Odell Beckham Jr.
Where, again, in that scenario as well, Odell, at least from what you could see, again, it looked like OBJ was getting choked out as he was laying on the turf. Yeah. It was very clear, and I think even a ref was right there watching it, did not do anything about it, but I think it was kind of, from the angle you see, or at least the angles, it's pretty clear that he has his hand around his neck and OBJ is getting choked down on the field.
And the last thing that Carr referenced was New England Patriots cornerback Jonathan Jones' helmet-to-helmet hit on Josh Allen.
Yeah.
So, again, like you said, the poster boy is Vontez Burfict.
And obviously that's the NFL of where without reading the statement of what they did against Burfict, but how I would read into that situation compared to the two of, the hit on Josh Allen, but again, the hit that Burfict did, hey, one was probably intentional, or at least on purpose. The other one was, hey, in the heat of the moment, those helmets aligned, and then that's where they collided in that contest between New England and Buffalo this past weekend. So that would be my understanding, but also, too, again, as you talked about, at least top 10 most wanted lists, at least with Burfict, the NFL probably had a little bit of vendetta, and this was kind of that perfect excuse to go, we're done with you.
And by the way, he's suspended without pay for the remaining 12 football games with the Oakland Raiders.
Which I do believe he could still at least appeal.
He's appealing.
I was going to say, he could still appeal this, and we'll see what happens.
And I think the hearing is on tap for next Tuesday, which he's not going to win. So unless if the NFL Players Association comes to his aid, that's about all he's got going for him right now.
And it could happen. It honestly could happen, but we'll see. We'll honestly see. This NFL front office, even with Commissioner Roger Goodell, we've seen them be spineless, cave in whatever reason. They'll go easy on offenders like this. We've seen it many a time. So again, this appeal, will he be out the entire season?
Don't know.
I really don't know.
Yeah,
I have no idea with this NFL. They find a way to flip on decisions so quickly that it would not surprise me.
All right, we got to wrap things up here on our side of town. We want to